All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakwakadash. That belongs to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone Well. Peace, blessings, salutations to those for electors out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth with heart sincerity. All right, may the blessing lesson be upon your houses. All right, the time topic of this lesson is going to be, all right, keep that tunnel vision. All right, keep that tunnel vision. Okay, and for those that don't know what that means, that's really a saying, that ultimately means, keeping your eye on that prize, man. Keeping your eye, focused on the goal or the end goal. All right, and our goal, right, our prize is what? Salvation, being delivered out of this place before the utter destruction falls upon this place, right? Is getting into the kingdom, man, being rulers, man. Our goal is salvation, man. All right, so we have to keep our eye, all right, focused on the prize, man. Our eye, and our minds, focused on, this end goal, man. The goal at hand. What we are out here, on the highways and hedges, week in, week out, laboring for, while we making our epistles, what we're out here, fighting and pushing for, man. So we have to constantly remember what we are laboring for, man. And constantly keep that on our mind, right? I'm gonna start off with this right here in 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter, verse 25, and it reads, "And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible crown," man. Right? And we'll see people, right, in this world, right? I'll use these athletes as an example. Right, you'll see these athletes that would have that tunnel vision, to get to the league, to get to the NFL, the NBA, or whatever major league it is, right, for whatever sport they're doing. Right, they have that tunnel vision from when they're young, and they're out there, busting their ass, training, doing this, that, and the third, just to get to the league, to then try to gain a championship. All right, they're doing all that for what? A corruptible crown, man. All right, but we out here striving for what? Those incorruptible crowns, man. So we need to have, that same type of, tunnel vision, right, or diligence, even more than them that is out here striving for these, corruptible crowns, man. All right. This is 2 Timothy, the 4th chapter, verse 8. So 2 Timothy, the 4th chapter, verse 8, and it reads, "Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing." Right? So at the end of the day, we are fighting for those incorruptible crowns. We're fighting for salvation. All right. The Lord has, beautiful gifts in store for us, but we must, at the end of the day, keep that tunnel vision and continually, stay focused and strive and, serving Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. That crowning ceremony is going to be beautiful, man. Right. It's going to be beautiful. And it's only going to be for who? For the elect, man. For those that, that the Lord, delivers out of this place, man. For those that were able to keep that tunnel vision and to keep their mind and their eyes focused on the prize and the goal, man. Right? Those that kept pushing and fighting all the way into the end, man. Right? There's a lot of things that is, in play to sway us off of our path, to sway us, or knock us off of our pivot, to pull us away from Yahweh Shem Yahweh, to pull us away from serving the Lord, man. Right? But we must remember what we are fighting for. We must remember what we are striving for, man. Right? This is James, the 1st chapter, verse 12, and it reads, "Blessed is the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, when the Lord hath promised, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him." Right? Blessed is the man that endured temptation. Like I was mentioning a little earlier here, right? There's going to be a lot of things that's trying to, sway you or knock you off your pivot and pull you from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Right? The Lord already told us this, You know, we came to serve him to prepare ourselves for these different trials and tribulations, these different things that are going to be, you know, thrown at us to ultimately, you know, pull us away from serving the Lord, man. Right? But we must endure, right? Endurance and having endurance and being able to endure is a key attribute, a key thing to have in this truth, man. All right. And also it says too, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, man. Right. So all these, you know, different trials and tribulations, all the hell we catching, right? At the end of the day, right, it's going to be worth it, because you're going to receive your prize. You're going to receive your reward. All right. You know, which is that crown of life, man. You know, receiving salvation, right? Immortality, you know, being rulers, man. You know, being in perfection, man. Right? Truly being able to enjoy, you know, your life, man. Enjoy your children, right? Enjoy your family. Be at peace, man. All right? Not having to worry about, you know, your job, not having to worry about all these different type of ailments and pains and aches in your body. All right. The rewards that is coming is beautiful, but we must, again, I cannot reiterate this enough, is keep that tunnel vision, man. Keep that tunnel vision type of focus, man. All right. And this is right, Luke 22 and verse 31, and it reads, and the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan had desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. Right? And that is ultimately the job of Satan, the job of these, you know, spiritual demons. All right. You know, is to ultimately do what? Sift you. Right? Pull you away from Yahweh Shema Shah. And when you go into that word sift, it means, you know, to agitate to the point of overthrow. Right? You know, we constantly get vexed in this place, but at the end of the day, we must continually keep our eyes, you know, keep having that tunnel vision, man. Keep our eyes focused on the prize. Keep our minds focused on what we are laboring for, man. What we are pushing for, what we are striving for, man. All right. And we are almost at the end. The end is near, man. We are truly living in the final days, man. Look at the state of the world. Look at all these things that's happening throughout the four corners of the world, man. Right, especially in Babylon, man. Wickedness is waxing worse in this place, man. Prophecies is moving in this place, man. Right? We must keep the patience, keep the faith, keep on enduring, and keep our mind focused on the goal, what we are laboring for, man. You know? This is Revelation 22 and 12, and it reads, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. Right? So again, like the scripture says, right, our labors is not in vain, man. All the labors that we're doing, man, right? All the times we go out on the highways and hedges, you know, every time you're making a pistol, man, every time you make a lesson, right? All that is doing is, you know, adding on to your spiritual bank account, in other terms, man. The Lord sees all this, man. Right? The Lord sees our labors. The Lord sees our efforts. He sees when we're catching hell and we going through it, but we still keep pushing. We still keep fighting. The Lord sees all that, and he counts that, man. Right? But we got to keep going. You can't quit. You can't stop. Right? Because if you quit before we get to the end of the race, man, it's at that point, all the stuff you did was for no reason, man. Right? It's not going to count towards you in any way. You know, it's like someone that's running a race, right? It's like someone that's running a race, and you know they're at the, you know, the last, you know, leg of the race, man. They're almost at the finish line, you know, and say, you know, they were about to get first place, but then they stopped, and then all the other runners came and passed them. You know, and by the time you get up, you can't say, oh man, I was almost at first place. You know, I was in first the whole race, and then, you know, at the end I fell. I didn't go to I didn't keep running. I quit. There's no prize for that. You know, people gonna be like, well, you know, you gave up, man. You was almost at the end. You know, you was doing good, but you just tapped out. You know, so that's how you gotta look at it, man. You gotta keep pushing and keep going all the way into the end. Keep that tunnel vision, right? You know, keep your eye on that prize, man. Keep pushing, keep fighting, man. You know, they got a saying, you know, Brother Yuan mentioned this today too. You know, mind over matter, man. Right? This is this is 1 Corinthians the 15th chapter verse 58, and I quoted this a little earlier. And it reads, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord, right? Our labor is not in vain again, right? So at the end of the day, keep that tunnel vision, man. Keep pushing, keep fighting. You know, failure should not be an option. Quitting should not be an option. All right. You know, we should consistently, you know, keep pushing, man. You know, we gonna have our ups and downs in this place. We gonna have times when we catching hell in this place, but that should not deteriorate us, right? Or knock us off of our pivot, you know, from what the goal is, from what, you know, where our focus should be at, man. You know, what the prize, the reward that we are striving for is, man. All right. But hey, you know, the point has been made. You know, again, you know, keep that tunnel vision on the prize, man, on what we are striving for, what we are laboring for. All right. But with that, you know, I'm gonna give all praises. I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakwakadash, that belongs to the elders and apostles of Great Mills from well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the for elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening also to this truth with heart sincerity. Until next time, shalom, and the ball, Kwame Sharala, shalom.